In this interview with Charles Floate, Charles reveals why niche sites are dying and three things that you can do instead to adapt now, plus how to stay ahead of the game when it comes to AI and SEO. As we all know, SEO is evolving and we basically have a choice: adapt now or face obsolescence, whatever that means. So today we're going to cover three actionable ways and case studies of how to adapt in SEO, the future of SEO, the future of SGE, and basically how to make sure that you don't get left behind and ensure that you're at the forefront of AI and SEO. Let's go. So, Charles, a niche site's dead.
Yes, unfortunately. So unfortunately, no, and yes, right. It depends on your objective. So if you're somebody who's looking for a side hustle that's just wanting to make a few $1,000s a month of additional income, and and with 10 hours a week of work, 100%, you can still do that. And I reckon you can probably still do that if you pick the correct niche and you pick the correct monetization methods. You can still do that going forward for a long time. I don't think that it is the same business model that you can do anymore, unfortunately, when it comes to things like flipping websites, building site portfolios, acquiring niche sites, content sites en masse, all of that kind of stuff, right? I think that's where, and I know it's where investors are leaving in droves, right? I have sold over a dozen websites to various investors, through empire flippers, all of that kind of stuff. All of them are saying that none of them, at least, the good majority of them, aren't buying any content websites. They're not buying any niche websites, and they're not buying any affiliate websites that are heavily based on content, because they think that these sites are so susceptible to AI, and that they think that the Google will be changing things. Google will be losing traction. Affiliate networks will be losing traction. The entire world and the entire digital landscape is going to change. And as a result of that, paranoia starts to seep in. People start to get fearful. People start to not fully understand how things are. And as a result of that, even if things don't actually change, things change because of people's perception of things have changed. So as a result, like I said, the networks close, the websites close, Google launches AI, things in this niche happen, things in that niche happen. AI content takes over from writers. AI content takes out your writing team. AI link building takes out your link building provider, right? All of this stuff it will inevitably affect niche sites specifically, because of how reliant they are on things that are susceptible to this new technology.
We'll come on to some things that you can do instead to overcome that problem. But essentially, there's money to be made on the way down, but it is on its way down, and that's the way investors see it. That's the way things are going with AI. I mean, the barriers to entry are just so low, aren't they, when it comes to creating content now?
Yeah, 100%. And I do think that if you're sat at home and you're thinking, oh my God, my websites are going to be nuked out of existence in the next 6 to 12 months, that's not the case. Like you said, it's just on a downward trajectory. That doesn't mean the gold mine is there's no gold left, right? There's still plenty more to be mined out. It's just that you have to be in those correct positions to be able to get the most reward, right, from the mine. In my opinion, the AI content is just getting better, right? The tools behind it are just getting better. The quality of the content's getting better. GPT-5 is probably not that far away. We're starting to look at models that can do video and imagery to degrees that are, almost photorealistic and things and stuff. That's going to be next levelly scary when animation and short form video start to really get affected by AI. So I do think that it's not just one single thing that's going to be affected. It's going to be kind of everything. And as a result, you need to make sure that you are positioned in the correct place for you to thrive. That is only best at whatever you're best at, and letting AI make you even better at that, right?
Yeah, that makes sense. And like I say, we'll come on to some of the positive things and also some of the things you can do instead. I think one of the best things about the event that you're working on in Dubai, obviously I'm speaking there as well, which in Dubai next month, which is basically like, how can you keep up with these trends? Because everything's moving so fast. People are almost like frogs in boiling water. And if you don't stay up to date with the latest news, you can get left behind so quickly, right? We saw that with content agencies last year.
Yeah, I 100%. And I think we're going to see it with different types of agencies going forward, right? As the technologies kind of progress in different fields, we will start to see animation agencies go out. We'll start to see even long form content agencies start to go out. We'll start to see link building agencies start to be affected,
Whoa,
right?
whoa, whoa, whoa. No, I think everyone has to be aware. That's the thing. You have to be ready
Yeah.
to adapt as well, right?
100%. And the fact that you're obviously kind of positioning yourself at the forefront of this technology in relation to link building and AI and things like that, I think you're one of the agencies that is probably going to be least affected, if not see a boost from this. Because again, the main thing that I try and tell people is that it becomes an efficiency imbalance to such a degree that people who are using these new tools and technologies, and as they do improve and just get better and better and better and become more efficient, your efficiency using them becomes to such a degree and such a higher level than people who don't use them that you will just outwork your competitors and you will be able to effectively destroy them because you're working at 100 times faster pace than they'll ever be able to put out themselves.
This is what I've seen just on the marketing side when it comes to running an SEO agency. Is like, if I look 12 months ago, before I was really using ChatGPT seriously, we had zero leverage. So we might get like 10,000 views a month from YouTube because we weren't leveraging AI and all the inputs, the outputs that come with that. Now, this month, we're hitting like 1 million views a month on YouTube, 2 million a month on Twitter. And it's like, if you understand how to use the technology properly, the leverage you have is unreal. It's more than anything anyone's ever seen. And this is organic, right? Because you have access to AI.
Exactly, yeah. And like I said, the technologies are just rapidly advancing. And if you can kind of be on the forefront of those technologies, you will be able to just create things. You'll be able to be at the forefront, which be able to be able to be the people that create the stuff that people start using, right? That's the aim, that you're literally at the forefront of this new technology and this new industry, effectively, because it's going to remold all the other industries out there. And if you can be at the front of that remolding, then you can understand it, know what to do, be able to kind of win better than anybody else.
The other thing I see is like, there's a lot of technology trends that come along like this. You know, we've seen NFTs and crypto and stuff like that. And these are big bubbles where people try to be right at the front, but actually they get distracted by shiny objects. With AI, that's not going anywhere. That's just going to become more and more relevant, isn't it?
Yeah, as it's already been shown, right? It's these human eval tests where the AI start beating humans at geometry, and then they start beating you at mathematics and advanced calculus and coding competitions. That's where stuff starts getting really, really scary. Is when the average developer in the world is beaten by an AI, especially when you can give that AI a single line sentence. And most developers you can't have a single conversation with. You end up being able to create a lot more than you would be able to before because you have these tools and stuff that are just unreal. And again, it is scary because it once these tools start beating humans and start being expert humans at their given field, people are given 20, 30 years or something, and you've trained this tool in the last week in a data center in Utah. This is just next level game changing technology. So with crypto, with even, the .com bubbles and things like that, yes, they will affect a large percentage of the population, but they likely won't affect the majority of the population, right? Even to this day, the majority of people don't own a domain name, right? They were never a part of the domain bubble. But the majority of people, even towards to this point now, are starting to have AI in their phones. They're going to have AI in their bloody refrigerators. They're going to have AI in their computers, in their cars, in their schools, in everything, right? So that's the thing. The AI will affect and be able to seep into every single part of society. Whereas all of these other previous technologies didn't. They didn't have that mass adoption to the point that AI will kind of force upon us because of that, again, like I said, efficiency imbalance.
So let's say I'm a website owner or an agency watching this, like a lot of people are. What's the best way to stay ahead of the curve and learn everything that you can so that you can adapt and make sure you don't get left behind?
Yeah. So the first thing you're going to want to do is just have a basic understanding of all of these technologies, right? Understand what they are, how they work, where they came from, who they came from, who to listen to when it comes to who's going to be creating the next iterations of these technologies as well, because those are the voices that are going to be, really up there. People like Ilya Sustaberg, I can't even say his name right. Ilya Sustaberg, I think it is. He's like the head of open anti AI kind of systems and team and things, and he's effectively the kind of godfather of modern AI technologies and stuff. He's probably going to be the person or one of the people on the team that launch into AGI, right? Which is what is going to be really scary for the kind of rest of the world when a computer can think like experts across the whole of humanity rather than just individual models and things. So you need to understand it at its core principles so that you know, and then you need to position yourself depending on where you are and what you want to be, right? So if you're a video design agency or if you're a graphic design agency, you probably want to be looking into stable diffusion and you want to be probably looking into these technologies that are going to be really affecting image and video based stuff because they could be coming for your bread, right? And if you're likewise, if you're doing content at any scale, you want to be looking at the next levels of content AIs. If you're doing niche specific content, for example, if you're doing like healthcare level content, you probably wanting to look into Google Palm because it's the healthcare oriented AI model. And that's going to be really game changing for the future of healthcare. All it is basically understanding what technologies are going to affect your specific business or your specific industry and you specifically and then just trying to be ahead of those technologies as much as you can and understand those technologies and kind of be around the people that are pushing those technologies to the future, or, just even if it's parasocial, being around those people, having an online relationship with them, being in a Discord community with them, that kind of stuff will give you a genuine advantage over all of your competitors.
So let's say I'm worried about niche sites being dead by the end of the year. And would you recommend that someone rinses the cycle as it goes down and you just try and get as much money as you can out of it? And obviously, with the amount of sites and the amount of content you can create, you can kind of balance against the decrease in demand? Or do you switch to something else? And if so, what would you recommend?
I'd always recommend switching to Parasite SEO, right? Right.
Parasite.
It works. It just works so easily. Anybody can do it. All you need is some content. You need two things, right? You need a basic understanding of SEO and a basic understanding of returns. And all that means is that if you can create a Parasite SEO page for 50 cents or $1 per page, and that page could potentially make you $100 or $1,000 a month, then all you need to do is effectively do arbitrage at scaling up as many of those pages as possible with as much capital as possible, right? So, spending $10, $20 a day to build 20, 40 pages a day. And eventually you're going to get to a point where that money is outperforming your daily spend versus your daily income, right? Because you're going to just have so many pages ranking across the board. They're going to be generating income. And like I said, it's very hit or miss. Some pages won't rank, but some pages will, and those pages will make $100 or $1,000. And that single page will pay for your next 3-4 weeks of page building alone, let alone the recurring income that it can make for months going forward, right? When it comes to actually having these sites, it depends how stuck in the model you are, right? If your entire business is reliant on just niche sites, so you have a portfolio of, 10, 20 websites, and that's your entire business, then you really need to be looking at kind of a micro level of where you're going to be bleeding traffic to AI. And then also on a macro level where you can use AI to generate more traffic and more business. So this ends up creating, instead of creating a cycle of just a downturn cycle of where you're losing business to AI, effectively you want to create your own upturn where you're using AI to your best advantage whilst also de-risking any parts of your business that are potentially going to be leaking away to AI, right? So again, it's all about what you're doing, where you can position yourself and your understanding the kind of the models and the future of the technology.
Yeah, the way that I see it is like with AI, obviously SEO might take a hit if you're just relying on one traffic source or one website. But at the same time, you can build a fortress that's basically invincible from Google updates because if it swings towards parasite SEO, like it did in August last year, then you've got a bunch of websites ranking like that. If it actually swings towards, okay, favoring authority sites or niche sites, then it's okay. You've already got your website up and running. And just to give people a very practical example of this, obviously you've probably seen some of my YouTube videos since we had our interview about parasite SEO. I think it was, when was it? August, something like that last year, maybe even October. It might have been later, but it absolutely changed the game. And I've never done parasite SEO before then. And then, for example, if you look at a keyword like ChatGPT link building, my own website only ranks third, but my LinkedIn parasite SEO articles rank number one. And then you can claim multiple spots on the first page with YouTube as well. And it just like, it doesn't matter what happens, whether my website ranks or whether LinkedIn ranks, it's the same. And then same, like if you look at a keyword, for example, like parasite AI SEO, this is my LinkedIn article, a transcript of my video, my YouTube videos ranking multiple times. Then you've got my Udemy course, a member from my mastermind ranking, my website, etc. And you can dominate any keyword and scrape not just the traffic to your website, but the traffic that would click anyway. So you've got all the spots on the first page, right? And it's like if someone's watching that, it's very, very actionable and very practical.
Yeah, 100%, exactly. It's like you said as well, if the algorithm updates do change, you're probably always gonna be number 1 at one point if you have got those, pages positioned correctly, right? And a lot of people just put parasite down to another form of, like, black hat spam and things, but you can have more of a white hat approach to parasite SEO where you do really well edited versions of a similar article across your Medium and across your LinkedIn and across all of these places, right? So it does turn out that every single piece is a good quality piece of content, and it still helps propel your brand forward, whoever's reading that piece of content. But the end is that you actually end up controlling multiple pieces of real estate in the top 10 results of Google, which is just way more powerful than ever having one website being able to rank would ever be able to do, right?
Yeah, 100%. And this is the same, not just for using AI with Parasite SEO. I also see this with brand building. It's like you can not just post a YouTube video or not just post a blog on your website, but you can use these GPTs to chop that up into 7 or 8 different platforms. And then you're posting it to LinkedIn, to your Facebook group, to Twitter. And you've got this custom prompt that can reformat the blog that you've got with SEO and you've invested money into, and then reformat it so that it's native to each platform. Like, Facebook group, it might be a question. For Twitter, it's going to be a short tweet. And if you learn how to do this stuff, it's almost too easy, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I've been using Parasite SEO for a long time for on reputation management. And it's one thing that I've kind of always told any of my agencies that I've done consulting with, that just add it as a service because you can charge a ton of it will be your highest ROI service in terms of an SEO backed play because you can effectively just build free parasite pages for a brand, right? So, your LinkedIn profile and your press releases and all of these kind of things and stuff and rank it for the brand name to kind of remove any toxic garbage, whatever that is potentially affecting that brand. And like I said, those are free parasite pages that you use to rank. Potentially you can pay for a few, but the fee to that service is between on average 15 and 25,000 US dollars for an online reputation management service. And you can execute it in a day with free pages. So you've just made 15 to 25K in one day with free pages and just your time, right? And it's very simple. And you just, again, use AI content. You could use Cover if you want to get the amazing reviews. These services are, some of the highest ROI activities that you can do. And I always try and make sure that any agents that I speak to have got these options to just make additional cash flow to their business as well.
Yeah, makes sense. So just to make this as actionable as possible for people watching who are worried about niche sites dying, number one, you can use Parasite SEO. And I'm going to show you some practical examples of how you can use AI to build your brand as well and create, a high leverage piece of content. So for example, if we look at any of the videos that I create on my YouTube channel, it'd be interesting to get your thoughts on this as well, Charles. It's like, we'll chop up a transcript like this, run it through ChatGPT, and then, we'll plug out maybe 30 tweets a day. We'll create these posts on LinkedIn as well. We'll post it to our Facebook group. And then additionally, as you can see, we've got 52,000 views 52,000 students on Udemy just by chopping up the videos that we have and then using ChatGPT to actually turn those into courses on Udemy as well. And it's like, instead of reaching 1,000 people with your niche site, now you can reach 1 million people by posting it to every platform and repurposing the content.
Mhm.
So there you go. Niche sites are dead. You know what to do instead. Easy peasy.
Yeah, just repurpose everyone else's content.
I repurpose my own content, but maybe some people repurpose. Just repurpose my content for everyone watching.
I did actually hear the other day something quite interesting that there's a YouTuber that I don't know if you've heard about. He's this teenager guy who goes on harassing people basically. He's called Jack Doherty and he's essentially set up this private Discord server where you can pay him to use his clips and he'll teach you how to use AI to cut them up into short form videos and things. And you can repost them for him. So it costs about $100 or something per 100 million views that you get, right? So you can use the short form posting and stuff. But I thought that would actually a really clever and interesting business model because he's already a creator that has all the content that they can use. You're effectively getting these people that are paying you to use that content to then go and market your brand further. And you're teaching all of these people how to chop up and create this kind of content based business for their own YouTube channels and TikTok accounts and things like that. And I thought that that was actually a pretty interesting way of these, even, there was teenagers that were like 12 years old and stuff in his Discord server that were making an absolute fortune off it, $5,000-$10,000 a month. And I thought that was a perfect example of how it's already seeped into the kind of mainstream now with this repurposing with AI and things and content and stuff. So there you go. You've already got these kind of large scale YouTubers getting teenage kids to distribute this content for you.
Yeah, I've seen that with Aman Gadsby as well. Like
Yeah.
his brand absolutely blew up because he basically hired an army of short video creators, made them compete against each other, and then they win bonuses based on how many views they get. And I think he's getting something ridiculous just on TikTok alone, like 250 million views a month.
Jesus.
It's
Yeah.
absolutely insane. Like if you build up an army of repurposing VAs, you don't just focus on SEO anymore. You're building a fortress across the internet.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And they're so cheap to run this for operations as well. And I do think there's certain brands out there that really don't see the value and how much you can get away with doing this kind of stuff and how early you are on it and how cheap it is to scale it out. And especially if you're a brand that already has thousands of hours of content and stuff ready to go, ready to be chopped up, ready to be edited and stuff, you've just got an advantage over most people that are just starting out.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right. So we've covered why niche sites are dead, do parasite SEO, do content repurposing and build your brand that way. What else would you recommend? Is there anything else?
Yeah, so there's always specific plays and stuff, right, within the algorithms that you can try and do. So right now, and kind of for the last 6 months to 12 months, parasite SEO has been the main thing, right? E-commerce websites have also been absolutely killing it when it comes to Google's algorithm in the last 12 months or so. So I would always try and position yourself again. It's all about positioning, right? Positioning yourself wherever those trends lie. And then also kind of the opposite side as well, positioning yourself ahead of new trends that are coming out, right? A lot of people, especially in the niche site and especially in the affiliate site community, try and ask for niches or try and ask to find niches or try and reverse engineer successful niches. When actually, a lot of the time, the most successful people are the people who find the trends before they've kind of blown up and they position themselves at the top of those SERPs so that when those things do blow up, they're already positioned number one in Google and they're getting all of those clicks through and getting the affiliate income, right? So if you can find offers or products or, new industries and things that are going to blow up and really explode, then that's going to be where you'll be able to position yourself even better. And Brian Dean has a really awesome tool called Exploding Topics. That subscription is about $100 a month just to look at, if a keyword is doing better and it's the trend graph or not, basically. But it pays its worth. It pays its weight in gold, basically, with how many new ideas and things that you get out of it. Even when it comes to AI stuff, I've been looking at all of the new kind of AI tools and things that people have been searching for and seeing if there's anything that we can try and create with our own team and stuff. And again, position ourselves ahead of that. Obviously, there's the obvious stuff around like AI image editing and AI video editing and things like that. But there's all sorts of different ones around AI assistants and AI phone calls and AI stuff to do with your cars and things and stuff, right? So there's a lot of trends and stuff that you can try and position yourself ahead of. And that's where you're going to really make the giant returns on your income versus just trying to already jump into a pretty saturated market.
Yeah, that makes sense. So you can leverage tools like Exploding Topics or Google Trends, I would assume, even looking at what's working on TikTok.
Exactly. Yeah. Even social media, everything, right? Yeah. Facebook, the whole lot. And even if you can create, the easiest way a lot of the times now is you go and create a new YouTube account and a TikTok account and a new Android phone, and you just start searching for stuff. And then you see what's being recommended to you on your new feed, and you'll get some amazing new ideas very, very quickly just by kind of training the algorithm to suggest content around the specific niches that you're trying to create it for.
Yeah, this is one of the ways that we find good YouTube topics is I'll look at a keyword like, for example, SEO or ChatGPT. I'll filter that down to the last week and sort by the videos with the most views. And then you can easily see, okay, these videos are popping off and everybody's interested in this topic right now. And then that gives you a bunch of inspiration for new content that you can rank for. And if you're ahead of the curve, it's easy mode.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And again, it's this whole thing of like creating a moat, right? like, because you have the historical data and the age and that you were the first person there and you've got all this kind of stuff, you're positioning yourself to be able to rank easier than anybody else who's new coming to the search. But
That makes sense. You were just getting into SEO now. Would you be fearful? Would you carry on with it, or would you look at something else?
I would probably not be looking at Google SEO, right? I would probably be trying to do something like YouTube SEO or even just YouTube marketing. SEO being a part of that, being kind of under the umbrella of YouTube marketing. Even Amazon SEO is an absolutely massive field, right? If you're one of the top Amazon SEO consultants and you can guarantee somebody that you can rank their product higher in the listings for big search terms in Amazon, you can be the difference of millions of dollars a month in revenue just for one keyword, right? If you think about things like epilepticals and stuff, running machines and things, if you're the number one product on Amazon for running machines in America, you're going to be shipping 1,000 units a day of running machines, which is a hell of a lot of cash flow, right? So there's all of these additional search engines that people just kind of write off. And I don't know why, because they're easier than Google. You can make more money, you can make money quicker, and you don't have to deal with a lot of the stress and stuff of this industry. And I definitely think that I would probably be living a lot happier life if I wasn't dealing with all these arrogant mates all the time, right? And I was just dealing with Amazon, who release a version of their search engine every 2 years.
This is what I wonder is like the way that we do SEO is going to change so much because, for example, it might not be about ranking on Google, at one point in the future, not so far away, maybe. It might be more about, okay, how do you rank inside ChatGPT? How do you rank inside SGE so that it recommends you and your brand and your product when it gives recommendations to the user? The other thing I wonder as well is like, it only takes one update from, say, Apple on the phone to stop people using Google on the phone and start using, say, Apple GPT as a search engine instead, right?
Yeah, 100%. Like I think last year really made Google see how their business wasn't this completely protected kind of, golden goose. And they saw the writing on the wall, and they've been trying to make proactive plays against it. But I don't think that their CEO is the right guy for the job. And I don't think that they have, well, I'm just saying it how it
No,
is,
no,
right?
no.
But, yeah. I
I can
think
cut that out if you
it's
want.
going. No, 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 no. I'm genuinely, I'm for it, right? I think that they need to get a new CEO because he's been making really bad calls. Like he's like, this entire technology was created by Google, right? It's like, it's Google's technology. Text transformers were Google's own technology. They made it open source, and the guys at the company who are fighting for this technology to be implemented and used got fired or got removed from the company because the internal politics saw it as a threat to Google search engine. So they actually let their competitor use their own technology to create a threat for them because of how scared they were of their own technology taking away their golden goose. And as a result of it, they have let their golden goose slip away to somebody else using their technology when they could have used that technology themselves to position themselves even more ahead of humanity than they already were.
It's crazy. Have you played around much with SGE, Google's AI inside Google search?
Yeah,
What do you
yeah.
think?
It's very hit and miss again, right? So the generations are scarily good in some aspects. And then in others, you're like, how the hell has it, got this together? And then there's even certain examples that have come out where if it had been released into the real world, Google probably would have been sued, right? Because I don't know if you saw the example from Marie Haynes, who posted about the greatest leaders
I
in
didn't see that.
history.
No.
So it was so she'd searched for the greatest leaders in history, and Google SG had Adolf Hitler as number one, and it had put Mao Zedong from China as number three. So you can obviously imagine that people aren't particularly happy that people who have killed tens of millions of people were put as the greatest leaders in history. And you can obviously imagine that if they were to do that in healthcare related stuff, to do like cancer treatments, and it was telling you to go and drink Clorox bleach or something, stuff like that. The internet does have stuff on there, and half the time it's satire, or half the time it's trolling or something from people. There's a lot of Reddit posts about putting tinfoil in your microwave to make like a metal ball, when actually it's just going to blow up your microwave, right? Like, there's stuff like that which I think SGE doesn't can't discern from our human ability to know what is satire and what is, especially British people, right? For God's sake, we're like the most known people in the world for kind of that kind of humor. I don't think that the AI is very good at discerning between those things. And I think that it is quite scary if it starts telling more vulnerable people to do things that obviously are not the correct things to be doing.
The other thing I found with SG is that it's basically Captain Obvious sometimes. So you might ask it, okay, how do I learn SEO in 2024? You'll say, learning SEO requires time and patience. You're like, yeah, mate, that's why I'm asking you. I'm trying to figure it out.
Yeah. Yeah. And then it also, it's not very good at current and up to date kind of things, right? So you ask it for the best Olympic athletes and it gives you them from the 1970s instead of the actual current best Olympic athletes, right? There's stuff like that where it just needs retraining or it needs some, for me, it's probably this positive negative thing where it's reinforcement learning, where they say this is a positive output, this is a negative output, and eventually it learns by itself how to create the most positive outputs just by having yes, no theory kind of thing, right? And there's actually some really interesting capabilities that have come out of that. That if you just tell an AI yes or no, and it's effectively a game, right? So you're telling it if it's won the game or if it hasn't won the game, and it knows that it's getting better and better and better at winning the game, then it will start creating new ways to do things and new ways that we never thought of to get there. And it's already doing this, right? So in AlphaGo, I don't know if you know about this. It was their early on model from about 2019, where they made the best Go player in the world from China cry on national television, because they beat him with an AI that they trained in 15 days or something, and he'd never lost a game in the last 20 years of his life or something like that. That technology used a new way of playing Go that humans had never used in history. And Go is a game that has probably been around for 15,000 years. So the fact that this technology has learned how to play this game in 15 days and then created a new way to not only play the game, but then win at that game better than any human has ever done in history in 15 days shows you how scary that kind of emerging capabilities will become and that how amazing this technology really is.
It's absolutely crazy. I think as well, there's so much more to it that we could talk about today, but obviously, I want to
Yeah.
be respectful of your time. We've got the event in Dubai coming up next month. What sort of things can people expect if they're going there or they're thinking about getting tickets?
Yeah. So first of all, obviously, it's the only real mastermind I'm going to be doing this year. And every time I host a mastermind, people just come away beaming from them because I try and make sure that everybody is integrated into a group that is going to maximize their own gain from that group and their own input to that group as well. So that I handpick who's group you're in. And the masterminds are just by far the best way to kind of level up your game any outside of doing anything basically, aside from obviously being in the trenches for years on end and just networking with like-minded people that are kind of up there. When it comes to the AI side of things, this is the only AI focused SEO event so far. And we've got some absolutely killer presentations coming through. And these presentations are going to be what people are using a year from now or 2-3 years from now in terms of the SEO industry. But these people are at the forefront and they are using it right now already. And these people are on the precipice of what is going to be the future. And they are the future, if anything. And I think that those presentations will change a lot of people's attitude and aptitude as well towards using AI and how we can use AI to the best of its ability. Especially a big shout out to you, especially a big shout out to Gareth Simpson, who is showing not only how to do an AI based link building system that is completely on autopilot, but he's also showing you how to replicate it using a no code style so that anybody and their grandma can literally do it. And that's kind of the beauty of it, is that every single speaker and every single part of this event is supposed to bring actionable information to anybody of any level effectively. And that's why we have people who are not even in SEO. We've literally got people who used to work at OpenAI coming to the event. And then we got all the way to people, at the right end of being in SEO for 25, 30 years when they were starting out with Alta Vista SEO. And now they're doing AI SEO, so it's a massive kind of career link. So I really do think that it's going to be the biggest game changer for anybody who's attending an event ever. And I know I'm going to be biased towards that, but I have seen some of the presentations and they are insane.
Yeah, I mean, two things I'd say there. Number one, when I went to your mastermind in Phuket in November 2022, within a year, my agency had more than doubled in revenue. Additionally, with this event, we were just talking about it yesterday when you were going through my presentation. It's like, people spend money to get there. It's all about making sure they get 5 or 10 times the value, at least from the information they learn from this. This is very, very actionable and ways that people get a direct ROI and be ahead of everyone else.
Exactly. Yeah. And like I said, yeah, be ahead of everyone else. That's the main thing, that we're trying to create this kind of mini community over there just for a few days where we can kind of create the future of the industry. It's up to us.
Awesome. All right. Looking forward to it. I'm going to leave a link if anyone wants to join down below in the comments and description. Thanks so much for being on. Anything you want to say before you go?
No, I appreciate you having me on. Hopefully we can do some more soon, and hopefully we'll do some live streams or something on each of these channels going forward.
Yeah, definitely. Actually, if anyone has any questions, feel free to comment below and we'll make sure we'll cover them on a live stream between me and Charles. Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks for having me. Peace.
Cheers.